Hi guys, and welcome back to the Female Fitness Podcast. I am your host Danny, and today I am coming at you from my bedroom on a Sunday. I have just spent the day with my mum and it has been lovely. Enjoyed a few hours of downtime. She came to visit from Sheffield, and I have had no other time in the week to record the podcast, hence me doing it on a Sunday in my bedroom. So I hope you all appreciate this. If you do appreciate me recording the Female Fitness Podcast and you do want to hear more where this has come from, please drop me a message on Instagram or share that you're listening on your Instagram stories so that I know you guys value me recording these podcasts and it is worth my time. I genuinely appreciate it massively to any of you who do reach out, and I love chatting to you guys. So yeah, please reach out to me, DM me, share that you listen on your Instagram story, tag me. I would absolutely love to hear from you. And I really enjoy recording the podcast, but I don't just want to do it for myself. So please let me know if you want me to continue. I have got some guests in the pipeline, which I'm really looking forward to getting on the podcast as well, talking about their own experiences, having interesting conversations, talking about their fields of expertise and all of that sort of thing. So yeah, got some really exciting podcasts coming, but I thought I would get back to regular uploads by doing a few solo podcasts. Obviously the first one being last week and then this one. And in today's podcast, I wanted to talk about a bit of reflection that I've been doing after today and spending the day with my mum. And again, just have a bit of a catch up with you guys and talk through some things that I think will be useful insights to you all. And hopefully you will get some take homes, as well as this just being a nice catch up between us. So like I said, I spent a day with my mum today. We don't see each other that often because obviously I've moved to Manchester now. She is in Sheffield. So I've been back to visit quite a few times actually since I've moved, but we don't see each other all the time. You know, we both have our own lives. My mum has her own boyfriend, and, you know, second part of the family. And our lives are very busy. So it was lovely to spend time with her. And what we did was we met up, went for brunch, which was lovely. And then we just had a mooch around, went shopping, all of that good stuff, spent some time together, had a catch up. And when we went for brunch, I had poached eggs and avocado on toast with like this chili oil, which was really good. I love chili oil, especially when it's on avocado. And I had an oat milk cappuccino, and I was reflecting on the fact that if this had been 5 years ago, I would have either not eaten and just had a black coffee, or I would have had, if it was my off season or improvement season, as I was bodybuilding 5 years ago, I would have had dry toast with any butter, oils, sauces on the side with 2 poached eggs, and I would have tracked it meticulously. And like I said, if I was in prep, I would have actually gone and not eaten anything and just had a black coffee. And for that reason, the meeting between us, you know, the occasion would have probably been cut short because I would have had to get back for my food and my training probably, and cardio and all of that sort of thing, and my steps. I would have had all of those things on my mind the entire occasion, and for that reason I wouldn't have been able to be truly present, never mind the fact that I wouldn't have reaped the benefits of enjoying the meal that I enjoyed today and the nutrient diversity that comes with that and the psychological satisfaction. So I was just reflecting on how different my life is now compared to where it was 5 years ago, and how different I am as a person, and how much of a difference that has had to me and my life, and also my relationships with family members, but also with friends. And acquaintances and partners, and I'm just so grateful for where I am now, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And it's difficult because in that moment 5 years ago, when I would have either gone and not eaten and just had a black coffee, or, you know, ordered something that I probably wouldn't have enjoyed. So even if the thing is, back then I would have convinced myself that I was enjoying it, even if deep down I knew that I wasn't. And I would have told myself and the people around me that it was worth the sacrifice to have black coffee and not eat, or to order poached eggs with dry bread. And along with that, and the other constraints of my life and my priorities being bringing the best version of me to the stage and micromanaging my physique, ultimately, I would have told myself that it was worth it to go and not be able to be truly present, and only be able to spend, you know, an hour or so with my loved ones, because I had to get on with the rest of my day because of the other commitments that I had, being in prep or my improvement season. I would have told myself that all of that was worth it, and it was what was making me happy at the time. But it's such a difficult one, because there's a certain element of it is what I had to do. And there were times in my bodybuilding journey where I was genuinely happy doing what I was doing, but definitely towards the end, I fell out of alignment and I didn't feel truly content and happy. But it took me a really long time to move away from that, because it had been my life for so long. The behaviors that I was displaying were developed over an extended period. They were conditioned over an extended period. And I'd been convincing myself that it was making me happy and it was worth it for so long, that I truly believed that was the case. And it took me to actually take a step back from competing and to challenge myself to lean into the discomfort of change and letting go of control and being open to a different way of living my life, for me to actually realize that what I was doing at that time was detrimental to me and wasn't making me truly happy, because it took me to take that step back and change the way that I was living to realize what true happiness and contentment was, because I don't think I'd really experienced it prior to that. So it's such a hard one, because I think, unfortunately, a lot of people who are in these phases where they, you know, go to social meals and they don't eat and they just drink Diet Coke, or they just have a black coffee, and they are focused on micromanaging their physique, and they're telling themselves that their extreme goals are worth the sacrifice. To them, it may feel like it genuinely is, because they've not experienced better than that. And that was definitely me. But now I've experienced better, and I can truly say from the bottom of my heart that I am truly happy, satisfied, and content 90% of the time. Obviously, within that, there are difficult life circumstances. I feel a full spectrum of emotions like anyone. It is healthy to feel a full spectrum of emotions, and I have my difficult times. When I am having my good times, when I am happy, I am truly my happiest and the happiest I've ever been. And I just hadn't experienced that before. I hadn't experienced that level of contentment, that comfort in my own skin, that confidence that I have now. And so I genuinely thought that I had the best that I could have at that time, and that sacrifice was worth it, because I didn't realize what it was taking away from me and what it was stopping me from experiencing, the life that it was stopping me from experiencing, because ultimately it was stopping me from experiencing this life that I have now. That doesn't mean that I have regrets for where I've come from, because I absolutely don't. I do not regret getting into bodybuilding. at all, because it taught me so many lessons. And actually being where I am now wouldn't feel so good if I hadn't been where I was when I was competing, because I wouldn't have the gratitude that I have now for where I am if I hadn't been there. So it's not that I regret getting into it. Would I, if I knew what I know now, would I have carried on bodybuilding for as long as I did? Probably not. But I don't regret it. I don't like to have regrets in life. I like to take the lessons from the experiences that I have. And obviously, like I said, there were times when I was competing where I did have happy memories. I did have good moments. It did teach me a lot. But that doesn't mean that it didn't come without its consequences. And back to the original point, when you're in that echo chamber of the people that you're surrounding yourself with, and when you're in that moment of your life, it's really hard to see things objectively and to realize the impacts of what you're doing, and to realize that, you know, maybe it's not worth the sacrifice, but you might not get that until you come out of the other side of it. And that was something that I was thinking about today after reflecting on how nice of a day I had and how present I was able to be with my mom. And it's little things like in the past when I was competing, whether it be in prep or my improvement season, my attention span was so much shorter. I wasn't as able to engage in communication for as long. I was much more irritable, and little things people did would have annoyed me. And on top of that, I would just find that my capacity for social occasions was much smaller, because I was so focused on being as optimal as possible from a nutrition, training, sleep, recovery perspective. And I was so focused on doing everything I could. Like, my priority above everything else was the physique goals, because of the bodybuilding goals that I had. So anything that potentially took away from that, such as being social, spending time out of my usual routines, I often had quite a negative association with those things and found them quite psychologically and physically draining. Whereas now my capacity for those things is so much higher. And actually my quality of life and my health is so much better as a result of that capacity being higher. And I think if you are someone who has pushed to extremes before, you'll be able to understand where I'm coming from with that and what I'm talking about. But it's bizarre. And you just don't realize how short your attention span is and how limited your capacity is until you come out of the other side of it. And it's little things like that that can make a huge difference to your quality of life. And I was also very defensive. If anyone asked me questions about my goals, about bodybuilding, about why I was doing what I was doing. For example, I lived with my nan for a while. And when I used to sit down and have my lunch, I remember having this massive bowl of salad with egg whites in it. And my nan said to me once, she was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just egg whites and salad." And she was like, "Oh, like, how come you eat that?" It was just generally being inquisitive and asking about the process that I was going through. And she was asking about bodybuilding because she wanted to learn about it. And I was so quick to shut her down. And all I wanted to do was give short responses so that she'd leave me alone. And it makes me so sad that I was that way towards my family, especially my nan, when she did so much for me and I lived with her for a while. Like, she let me live in a house and I still barely spent time with her and didn't engage properly in conversations with her because I was so preoccupied by the physique goal that I was chasing and by the bodybuilding goals that I was chasing. And yeah, it makes me so sad to reflect back on that. But like I said, no regrets. I've learned from that now, and it is far from the person I am today. And now I make time for those conversations and for my loved ones, and I make sure that they know I appreciate them. But yeah, it's just little things like that that are really crazy to reflect back on, and you don't even really give it a second thought at the time. But yeah, I was so defensive, and if anyone ever asked questions about my physique goals and the process, I would just be so quick to shut them down, thinking, oh, you won't understand, or you're just going to be judgmental about it, which is often not the case, because people are just being inquisitive. They just want to understand you so that they can connect with you, and because they care about you, especially your family. So yeah, absolute madness to look back on, and I wanted to share that with you guys. But like I said, I'm so grateful for where I am today and my ability to be present in those occasions and actually enjoy the small moments in life, which before I would have taken for granted or neglected. And if that's something that you've noticed, you've let slip, and you're really struggling to be present, and you're not making time for the people who care about you, who matter to you, you have the power to change that. You've just got to lean into the discomfort of allowing your priorities and goals to change, and letting go of control in some situations when it comes to control over your food, your expenditure, your training, optimal recovery. It's very common for people in the bodybuilding world to use it as a means of regaining control when they feel out of control of other aspects of life. And that's definitely something that I have done in the past. And for that reason, it can be, well, that's one of the reasons it can be so difficult to let go of the control that you have over all of the variables that you're trying to control, especially if you've been doing it for a long time, like I did. But it is absolutely possible, and it is so liberating when you learn to let go of that control and you lean into the discomfort of it, and you allow yourself to change a path if you know that's what's right for you. Obviously, what's right for each individual is completely different, and we all go through different phases of life where we might have certain goals and priorities, and our values can change. So I am not judging you if you do have the priority of your physique-based goal right now at all. I've been there 100%. But just be open to change. If you notice you're feeling conflicted, if you notice a shift in how your attitude towards the process and your relationship with the process and your health, be open to allowing yourself to change your path and recognize that there's no right or wrong. But there is a right or wrong for you as an individual at this very moment in your life, and you need to respect that and honor it if you feel that need to change path. And I promise you, it will get easier with time. And it is so liberating when you learn to let go of control and live life in line with what you know is right for you, rather than pushing yourself into a box that you believe you should be in, or that's comfortable or familiar for you, so you feel like you should stay there. So there's some food for thought from today. I have a very busy week coming up. So tomorrow I am going to wake up early, box my client check-ins off, which is one of my favorite parts of the day. And I am then meeting a friend for coffee. I have a Zoom call with a peer in the industry. And then I am traveling down to London, and I'm actually staying over in London for the night on Monday night. And I have a podcast I'm on somebody else's podcast on Tuesday to talk about women's health, body image, relationship with food, menstrual cycle function, all of that good stuff, which I'm really excited for. It's an in-person podcast, obviously, which is why I'm going to London. And then I'm going to travel back after the podcast, potentially meet a friend before I do. Tuesdays is my client training video feedback day. So if I'm ever doing anything like this, it's usually a Tuesday. because training video feedback is the kind of work that I can do from anywhere. So I'll do a lot of that work on the train or in my hotel whilst I'm traveling, that sort of thing. So that's my Tuesday, training video feedback. It's like an admin day as well. So I'll do a lot of going through my finances, planning social media content, all of that sort of thing, as well as the podcast recording, which I'm really, really excited for. And then traveling back to Manchester. And then the rest of the week is just pretty much work as usual, which is very busy at the moment, but a good busy. And tomorrow, so I'm recording this on Sunday, Monday is the start of our course, the Flourishing Coach, which is a 3-month course where it's a mentorship course for coaches. And our aim with the course is to have a positive impact on the industry and help coaches better support their clients with their overall health and quality of life, their relationship with food, body image, menstrual cycle function, and overall physical health. So we couldn't be more excited to get it off the ground. During the course, there's going to be group mentorship calls. There's going to be one-to-one touch bases with myself and Charlie. We did not just want it to be a generic course, and we didn't want it to be the type of thing where you don't get any one-to-one contact time. So there is one-to-one contact time included, as well as group Zoom calls to discuss client case studies and topics that anyone on the course is struggling with. It's a close-knit community. We've only had 10 spaces on this course so that we can work with everyone really closely as individuals and make sure that everyone really gets the most out of it. And yeah, we couldn't be more excited to get it off the ground. And we have another course launching later in the year, which I'm super excited for, which again is in line with that same thing of having a positive impact on the industry and changing people's lives for the better, helping people progress towards their goals whilst keeping their health intact or improving their body image, relationship with food, menstrual cycle function, recovering from extreme or chronic dieting, because there's not enough support for people who are struggling with these things. There's plenty of transformation coaches out there in the industry. There's plenty of prep coaches, but there's not enough support for people out of the other end of those transformations or chronic dieting, people who've been on a diet their entire life, but have gotten nowhere and have been struggling with their relationship with food as a result of that, or their body image, or they've dieted, but they still aren't happy in their own skin. And they're wondering, why is that? It's because your body image needs improving, not just your body composition. So yeah, we can't wait to change people's lives for the better and help people live their healthiest, happiest lives inside and out. So yeah, that's my plan for this week. Another busy one, but I'm so grateful for it. I've got a few client calls this week as well as my usual check-ins. And I've got a new client starting, which is really exciting. If anyone who is listening is interested in one-to-one coaching, I do currently have a couple of spaces available. They are limited because I only work with a select number of people. But if you're interested, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm always happy to help. And I am not the type of person who pushes anyone into starting. I don't want you to start coaching unless you are ready and you're willing to work, because that's the position where we're going to have the best relationship and you're going to see the results that you desire. I want to work with people who are ready to do the work and commit to themselves and become their healthiest, happiest selves. So yeah, if you are ready, drop me a DM. If you're on the fence, still drop me a message and let's chat about it, and we can see if now is the time for you and if coaching would be the right decision for you, and we can go from there. And I hope you're all having a great day. I will chat to you all soon, and I can't wait to bring you more of the Female Fitness Podcast. If you do enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, share that you listen on your Instagram story, tag me. Let me know if you have any topic or guest requests. I'm thinking of doing one on PCOS soon, so you've got that to look forward to. And if any of you want to buy any supplements from Full Bore Sports, you can use the code Danni10, which will save you some money. It is not the kind of promo code where I make money off it, so that's not why I'm promoting it. I do educational work for Full Bore, so that's our sort of partnership. But let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.